Lewis in Newham. Lewis, good evening.
Hi there. I bought into a franchise, don't worry, I won't name them, last year, but relations fell apart when the franchisor found out that I had past convictions. I say found out in air quotes that you can't see because it just didn't come up in our talks before I invested. I genuinely forgot to mention it and they didn't ask, so there was no intentional dishonesty here. They terminated my agreement under a typical disrepute clause that I deprived the franchisor of the opportunity to make its own decision. I would have liked to have continued, but seeing no future with them, I've tried to request my money back on at least the franchise fees, being very, very reasonable, including offering to wait until they have a replacement franchisee, but they've since gone silent on me. This is for £25,000. Question one is that, as the convictions are unrelated to the franchise, is the termination likely to be fair? And question two is, am I able to take them to court to pursue that money back, or do you suggest other action?
What was the conviction or convictions for?
Oh, they're dotted all over the place. Mainly computer misuse.
Do you mean some form of pornography?
No, computer hacking sort.
Hacking, OK. What was the date of your last conviction?
Early 2024.
And did you spend any time in prison? Or have you spent time in prison?
No, suspended sentence.
Suspended, OK. Did the hacking offences or the computer misuse offences involve dishonesty? Was dishonesty an element of the offence?
Oh, good question. Possibly.
By possibly, do you mean yes?
Let's go yes, then.
OK. You've been cross-examined before, haven't you, Lewis? Right, so £25,000, a lot of money. Thank you for not naming the franchisor, but can you give me an idea what sector they're in? Is it the food sector?
No, drones.
Drones, OK. This is going to depend. Whether you're entitled to your £25,000 back is going to depend on what the contract says. You see, if you breached the franchise agreement or you said something in the franchise agreement that's not true, for example, the small print in there said, you declare you have no convictions or convictions for dishonesty, and that wasn't true, they're entitled to cancel. And then unless the franchise agreement also says you can have your $25,000 back, which would really surprise me because it probably won't. Unless it says that, they're entitled to cancel without paying you your £25,000 back. But if they pulled the plug without good reason, for example, if there is nothing in the small print that says you declare you have no past convictions for dishonesty, or you wouldn't do anything that there's nothing in your background that brings the business into disrepute. If there's nothing in the contract that says that, they can't invent it now as a reason for ending the franchise agreement. And by ending the franchise agreement, they're in breach of contract. And technically, you can sue them for loss of earnings flowing from that. In other words, your lost profit over the next few years. Now, what is likely to be much easier is if you can agree $25,000 back, because that's a very sensible way of dealing with it. And I suspect your lost profit would actually be more than $25,000. Do they give you profit projections?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Well, you must know. When you signed the franchise agreement, there would have been huge numbers of documents with profit projections.
No.
But there must have been.
Sorry, projections, did you say?
Yes, they must.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said protections.
No,
Yes,
projections.
They were projections, yes.
How much do you think you would have earned over the next, say, 3 years? Profit before tax?
Probably about 100,000, I'd say.
OK, so you would potentially have a claim for that sort of level of money unless there were other clauses in the franchise agreement limiting the length of the agreement. But I wouldn't have thought there are. I think you need to take this to a lawyer. There's a lot of money at stake here. You need to get the lawyer to read the franchise agreement and see whether it says anything about you making representations about being of good character. But I think this is definitely worth pursuing, Lewis. It's worth spending some money on legal fees here at a very cheap basis. And don't do this and rely on it 100%, but it gives you 90% confidence. Put the franchise agreement into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT if it contains any representations, that's the word, any representations by you about character or criminal convictions.
Not a bad idea. I haven't thought of that.
All right.
Okay.
Lewis, good luck. I don't... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, failing that, depending on what ChatGPT says, do you suggest any legal firms to go to? Or
You want a firm that knows something about commercial law and contract law, but I'm not going to suggest one by name, I'm afraid, Lewis.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the call.